Hey team, welcome to the Builders Ladder podcast that the top residential building company owners and general contractors listen to get their business ahead and buy back their time while earning more money. Here's what's in store today.
There are companies in that industry where I could easily turn this into a $10 million plus business.
You've built two great businesses and you're going to continue to dominate and crush it going forward.
We don't want to double in size by doing twice as many $10,000 jobs. So we're like, how do we get more $100,000 plus jobs? And so we're getting into that.
Why did you choose to buy the business instead of start?
I've never been on the tools. I've always been in sales and marketing roles, management. It was just easier to buy an existing one and try and improve it and grow it.
How have you found building a team?
Yeah, it might cost you another 20 grand or more to employ the top performer, but a poor performer will cost you 100 grand plus. He might put you out of business.
The Builders Ladder is brought to you by the professional builder. Get proven systems and expert coaching to reclaim your time, make more profit, and build a systemised, profitable company that buys back your freedom.
All right, and we are live. Welcome to the Builders Ladder, and today we are here with Dughall Aitken. How you going, my man?
Very good, thank you, matey.
How you going on?
Good, brother.
To see you, Barrett.
Good to have you here.
Good to see you.
All right, and today we're going to be talking to one of our members, Dughall Aitken, who owns Ensura Building, and not only that, but he's got another company, a fencing company, and he's doing a lot of entrepreneurial stuff, and we're going to be hearing about his journey, the challenge of growing two businesses, having multiple locations, the lessons that he's learned, and explore some of the challenges and how he's overcome them and what the future looks like. Dughall,
Sure.
Great to have you here.
Thanks for inviting me.
So tell us a little bit, just to set the scene, about your businesses, where they're based, type of work you do.
Sure. Right, so I took over a fencing business first about 8 years ago. It's based in Auckland, doing timber and aluminium fencing and retaining walls, largely for group-owned builders, so large volume stuff. With about 20 staff. Then I bought Ensura Building Services about 6 years ago with a business partner. Primarily does insurance reinstatement work, plus some private renovation work and other sort of related work. That was based in Whangarei, and it had contractors in Auckland as well, and we saw the opportunity to grow it more into the Auckland market, set up a proper office in Auckland and expand. So that's been quite the journey, operating a business in another town and having multiple locations, multiple businesses. That's been quite the journey, and it's been...
Why did you choose to buy the business instead of start?
Yeah. Good question, Owen. Because
Great work.
yeah. Thanks for that. Well, I decided to buy into businesses rather than start one because I'm not a builder as such. I've never been on the tools. I've always been in sales and marketing roles, management. So it was a case of wanting to work for myself rather than for some other corporate, like a lot of other people do. And it was just easier to buy an existing one and try and improve it and grow it. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
0 to 1 is the hardest. Starting a business, getting it up out of the ground, getting it to that first mill is the hardest part of the journey.
There's no momentum.
Exactly.
No.
Yep. After that, you've got capital, you've got success, you've got evidence that what you're doing is working and it's moving in the right direction. So how did you decide on what businesses to buy? Like, why building and why not something else?
Sure. I had worked in the building industry all my life, so 20 plus years in different sectors of the building industry. So I had quite a good knowledge and understanding. That's where I felt my expertise lay. So I looked into that, and I looked at other different types of businesses like kitchen manufacturers and things like that. I had another business before I bought the fencing business, and that was selling sinks and appliances around the kitchen manufacturers. So I got to know that market quite well. So I was actually looking to get into that. So that business was like a sales agent. I had the agency for Auckland and Northland, and that went quite well. I had that for a couple of years, doubled that in size, and the head office wanted to buy it back from me, so it was a good opportunity to get into something bigger. It was a nice little business that helped me learn how to run a business, all the things around cash flow, accounting, tax, and that sort of thing that you don't know going into business. So that was huge. But I guess the big thing too, going into moving into Ensura, running that was I had some scale and size to start with, like you mentioned.
Yep.
I'm not starting from zero. I had a number of staff. There was about 4 staff in the office up there, and gave me
So
a good platform.
why did you look at Whangarei instead of buying one in Auckland? Because you live in Auckland.
Good question again, I guess. But I was just like, I wanted to look for something bigger, something that could be scalable, potentially even taking it nationwide. They had they were approved builders with every insurance company in the country, and they were slowly expanding under the old owner. We covered the whole of North Island and Auckland, and even the Greater Taupo region, all through subbies, and they were looking to grow in other areas.
Sure.
We just thought, well, that's the size of Auckland versus Northland, much bigger population. I think it's less than 200,000 in Whangarei. But the potential to scale it up in Auckland was huge, and to bring that in-house rather than using subbies. So we got our own office with staff down here rather than using subcontractors.
Awesome. And how many people you got now on the insurer side, the building side?
Yeah, it's still pretty similar. We have about 5. We did have 5, and we still have 4 staff in the office in Whangarei at the moment. Our economy is a bit lighter this year than it was last year, and it is sort of very much determined by weather events and things like that. Obviously, when there's floods, like the Auckland floods last year, January, February, the workload just went through the roof. So we were huge.
See what you did there. That was good.
The work was flooding in.
Nice.
The thing was, we could see there was good potential with this company in Whangarei, and that there was plenty of room for improvement there. When we bought it, it was very manual. It was very basically run. They didn't even have an accounting software package.
Wow.
Everything was done on a spreadsheet and
With an abacus?
Yeah. So it made getting financial reports very hard. It was all around a data entry into spreadsheets. So it was prone to mistakes, and you can just these days click a button and pull a report. So and like I say, all the processes were manual. So there was whiteboards all around the office. There's
Love a good whiteboard.
Whiteboard for Whangarei, one for Dughall, one for Kerry.
Yeah.
And so we could see straight away there was good opportunities to
improve the operations.
Value and
So how have you tried to, what's the software stack look like now? How have you tried to simplify and streamline some of that stuff? Because that's, as an investor, you're like, okay, sweet. I'm rubbing my hands together going, there's so much growth opportunity here, but at the same time, there's a lot of work involved. So
100%.
That down?
So straight away, we already we're familiar with using accounting software systems from our other fencing business. So
Xero or MyOb?
I was using MIB for the fencing one, so I decided to use Xero.
Okay.
Just for so we wouldn't get confused and jumping between businesses and Xero. But in the end, we've seen that Xero is actually better. We feel from our point of view,
absolutely right.
Especially with the financial reports and things like that. So we found that a lot easier. And it's okay running both in one business, but we use job management software called Rave Build. It's a New Zealand developed software for those that don't know. So particularly for the small job sort of people, like that was originally done for sparkies and plumbers and that sort of thing. But it's good for our work, our sort of work, because we're doing 100 plus jobs a year. It's not like doing new builds where you don't maybe
a dozen 5 or 6 or 10.
So that's why it's a lot easier for us. But we even just use lots of other basic free software, things like WhatsApp, just helps communication and on jobs. So we just set up a WhatsApp group for every job, and then it just has all the information on there, and you share the information with other tradies like plasterers, painters, sparkies and plumbers,
and then
sharing photos.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, nice. So Xero, Rave, and then a bunch of free stuff. And then you said you got 4 in the office in Whangarei, and they kind of oversee the operations across from as far south as Taupo and right up to the top? Yeah,
that's right. So that's the head office, and then we've got a bunch of in-house builders there, and then we have a bunch of other satellite branches of subcontractors like Dughall, Kaiwaka, Kerry, around the place. And so our head office is like the halfback for that. We've got Lynn, who's our great star office manager in there that gets all the work will come into there, and then she'll farm them out to everybody, manages that.
Awesome.
I've got a branch manager that runs overall everything, and he's a great star. That guy Andy, he's brought us in so much work. He's a great networker. He's a really top performer.
Yeah.
And then we've got an estimator and a project manager as well.
What do you do to develop and retain and attract top tier talent?
Yeah. When I was looking to get a branch manager, or to replace my branch manager, the outgoing one was wanting to retire, but even just putting in a branch manager was such a game changer for me, because
Absolutely.
I was going up every week to Whangarei, get up at 5 a.m, drive up there.
I remember that. You'd call, we'd have chats on like a Tuesday and you're in Auckland, and then might follow you back up on a Thursday and you're in Whangarei, and then next week I'd see you again on a different call.
Yeah.
You're back in Auckland, and I was like, it's not far as the crow flies. It's only 200k or something.
Yeah.
But it's just logistically, it's still tough.
Yeah. And when you've got young kids at home and stuff like that, and you're trying to get that balanced life. And
It's faster in a fast German sports car.
True that. I want to get to that.
No, I'll get to that. But so that was the thing, I'd get up there early, get to Whangarei for 8 o'clock, same time as them, and work all day, and then I'll be working in the evening in the hotel there and getting through work while you can, and then getting the systems in place. But so when I decided, hey, this really needs a branch manager here permanently to help make decisions quicker.
Yep.
We can be more active and just give the staff up here more support. And that was game changer. So they really appreciated having somebody in charge. And otherwise, it was like decision by committee. Who's going to make the decision on this? Oh, I can't get hold of Dughall or whatever,
Yeah.
So they felt a lot more empowered too. It's the old 131 rule.
Yep.
Down
Absolutely.
hotel.
Exactly.
Okay, identify the problem, give me 3 solutions and tell me which one you prefer, you want to run with, and that's great.
Awesome.
And all the staff, even I do it with the staff in Auckland as well, and they really appreciate that. They feel more empowered. They feel more valued, that, their input matters, their ideas matter, and so that's good. But like you say, choosing the right person is absolutely key. You think you can't afford the right person, well, you certainly find out how much a poor performer costs you, way more.
Particularly when you're doing like 100 jobs a year. There's 100 opportunities to fuck one job up. So we're talking 1,000 opportunities to,
You think it's expensive to hire a professional? Wait until you hire an amateur.
That's the same.
Yeah.
So it might cost you another 20 grand or more to employ the top performer, but a poor performer will cost you 100 grand plus. He might put you out of business.
And how much did that free up your time and work hours? What did that look like once you put that role into play?
Oh, it's been massive. In the last couple of years, it's made a huge difference to my work and lifestyle.
So what does that person, the branch manager, do?
He basically runs the whole business up there for me.
So project management,
sales,
price the jobs as well?
Yep, he prices jobs. We do have an estimator as well, but he oversees them and helps out with some of the smaller pricing. He's out there calling on the customers regularly, and he just has a great rapport with all customers, brings in a lot of work. He's well known in Whangarei. Whangarei is, it's a small town, so everyone knows everyone.
Typically well known in Whangarei. He goes with Notorious, he's in Black Power or something like that.
No, he's involved in the old classic car clubs and this and that, and with the kids with school and sport. And,
awesome.
He's been in the building industry himself for a long time. He was an architect, had his own building business. He's done all sorts. So, and before that, he took a big pay cut to take my job, but that was for a work-life balance. He was travelling all around the country,
right,
for a steel and tube sort of job, with managing big steel reinforcing projects with 120 staff. And he took a massive pay cut, but he's like, his kids he's got a couple of daughters, are getting older, wants to be able to be there to read them story at night, tuck them in bed, go to their sports day at school the next day, those sort of stuff. And
absolutely,
the kids were sort of feeling they were missing out on him, so he took that.
Awesome. Yeah, build a business that serves you and serves your team. Not where you feel like you've built a prison.
Yeah, and for both our businesses, we try to keep it family oriented. Family comes first. Everyone else will pick up the slack if you got a sick kid at home or whatever. It's But so you want them to feel respected and feel like a family member. But
So is he incentivized at all? Like, is he on bonus, profit share, productivity, profitability on jobs, pathway to equity, or anything like that?
We're working through an incentive scheme at the moment. I had one originally when he first started, but it didn't quite work. It's always hard trying to get the incentive scheme
Particularly
structured
for
right.
a new role.
Yeah.
You know, like when it's you previously doing the role, like the incentive is to grow the business. When it's somebody else, it's harder to tie up like who's particularly come to maximize their lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, trying to work out the right thing for everybody is an interesting one.
And in the current economic market, you know, your budgets aren't getting sort of met like you thought they would, and even just the insurance market has been a bit slower this year after the big storms of last year.
Yep.
What that causes there is like a bit of a knee-jerk reaction there, where they go from farming out heaps of jobs to builders to like, oh, we've got too much, we need to cash settle them to get them off the books quicker.
Sure.
So they go to cash settling, a lot of them, and now unfortunately that hasn't been able to
translate
back. And so now they're still having high cash settlement rates, even though the number of claims coming through are way lower than they were a year ago. So, you know, they typically sort of want only about 30% cash settled, but they're getting like cash settlements of like up to 60% getting cash settled, and that they don't want that either. They want to make sure that their builder network has work coming through so that they can support them when there is a next event, but also to understand from their perspective how their builder network is performing and making sure customers are happy about getting the builds fixed. But it is always better to go through the reinstatement builder through the insurance company because there's often variations, as you might know.
Yes, as I'm finding. Exactly. Love a good variation.
So, you know, once you open up a wall, you know.
Yeah,
exactly.
What's behind it?
What's behind it? More rot.
Yeah, pretty much.
Classic.
So, yeah.
And are your team, your builders, are they employees, contractors, or subbed in on a as required basis?
Yeah,
Or a mixture?
a bit of a
All
mixture.
above.
In Whangarei, the traditional setup there has been contractors. They subcontract to us, but they're full-time for us. But, you know, there's obviously benefits for them running their own business to us and what have you. So, but we supply them with sign-written company vans, that sort of thing. Whereas Auckland, we run it slightly differently. It's more like we bring subbies in on a project basis and give them the rate.
Yep.
This is how much we're paying you for the rate for this job, and that's it.
Okay, cool. Yep. And you mitigate your risk a lot by that.
Yeah.
Yep. How have you found building a team with having subbies giving you fixed prices versus your builders who are there all day, every day, and essentially part of your team?
Yeah, we've found a huge difference. It's just, with Auckland, like you say, it just helps mitigate our costs, keep our costs in control so that you're making the margins that you're working on. Because as you've had a chat with Floyd before about, you know, you've won the job, this is the price, and now it's like a race down to the bottom to make sure you're making money.
100%.
You're only going to make this much money at the beginning, and you're never going to make more than that. It's just trying to mitigate the losses.
How many variations
you are.
sell through, right?
you try to.
One of our members in Sydney, Doug, he typically, most of his jobs, because he does remodels and renovations, will come in 30 to 35% of the contract value will be in change orders and variations.
Well, yeah.
It's different. I mean, like each project's going to have a slightly different model to it as well, right? You know, like with you guys doing the insurance stuff, super that you've got all of those relationships. So you said at the beginning, like one of the key reasons for the purchase of the business was for the existing relationships that it had with the insurance companies. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So like, you know, the profit zones for your jobs being smaller in contract size is different to the profit zone of like a new build or a reno and other things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we run much higher overheads because of the number of small jobs. You know, like the average size insurance claim is about $10,000.
There you go. Yeah, there's a lot of running around involved with a $10,000 job as just as much, if not
Absolutely.
more than
Yeah.
$100,000 job.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and there are jobs that are 2, 3, 5 grand, and you got to manage,
Yeah.
multiple jobs. I think at any one time we tend to have 50, 60, maybe more jobs and work in progress from being accepted through to.
So how do you manage that work in progress? Because that's like one of the biggest challenges. And it's on level 9 or 10 for you compared to some other people. So how do you manage that? What's the system you have? Is that in Rave, or what do you do?
Yeah, it's in Rave, and we also have our own spreadsheets and stuff we run as well. So that show the list of all the jobs and what stage they're in. So there's the ones that have been accepted, waiting to start, and there's ones in work in progress with builders, work in progress with other contractors.
Is the estimator in charge of updating and managing those, or is the foreman on each job? Who's responsible for updating all of that stuff?
Yeah, it depends what stage the project is, but a lot of it is our project manager.
Sure.
Manages most of that, so she'll be across all that and managing the subbies to where they're all at. And
so how does she's managing all 50?
No, we've got some in Auckland and that as well, and then there's some of our other branches, around the rest of Northland and Kerikeri and stuff like that. So then it's our office manager will be sort of keeping it across those, but they're a full contract job. We just clip the ticket on those ones. So just keeping an update. We need to be across them and understand where they're all at. Otherwise, we get 100 phone calls a day from insurance companies because they're getting phone calls from Marty or whatever and going, where's my job at? When's the plastering finished? When's the paint come in? When can I move in? And
for sure.
And you're like, well, we'd get the job done if you wouldn't stop phoning us all the time. So that's what we discovered, like in one of the recent weather events a few years ago. So it was just like, man, we can't get anything done. It was like the project manager basically just turned his phone off for like a few hours so he can get some stuff done, and then at 4 o'clock in the afternoon he'd return all the calls. You got to work out a way to do it efficiently when you got, I think back then we had 100 plus jobs on the go, It was, I think in total we did like 400 quotes and I don't know how many months, and it was just crazy. So you have to do it in batches.
Totally. Yeah.
To be efficient. But then we run a spreadsheet that keeps an update of where all the status is, and then just email our clients, say, this is where your job's at, blah, blah, blah. This is the next step. This is the estimated finish date. And,
nice.
And
sure.
Then, but then you've got to be using the Rave and that as well to be keeping track of where things are at and costs, budget versus actual. And because in the past when everything was manual, you're just looking at it in the rearview mirror. You wait till the job's finished. And do we make profit? Oh shit.
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
Better like next time.
Yeah. So you saying there that running slightly higher overheads, what ratio or percentage does that usually sit around on an annual basis in regards to top line? Because often it can be sort of 8 to 12, might be as high as 15 for a custom new build business and things like that. Maybe if we're ticking over 9 mil to 10 mil, it'd be a little bit of an economy of scale and it might come down a little bit. But approximately kind of ballpark, do you know where you're sitting around the 10 or 20 or
it's
8?
More like between 15 and 20. It just varies, depends on workloads and things like that. But so we're running at higher margins obviously to compensate that. So we're in the high 20s typically on average. But on the real small jobs we can make 40, 50, even plus, even higher margins.
And what have been your big lessons in growing? So if we look at what's Ensura grown from, say, 3 years ago to now in terms of revenue?
Yeah, I think when we took over it was about 3 million a year, and last year I think we were up around the 5 million.
Okay. And how's the next 12 months look?
It's been quieter this year, but with things we got working on at the moment, it's looking pretty positive. I've got business plans now to basically double the business or more in the next 2 to 3 years, and it's been a been a journey on look at multiple fronts. We don't want to be just insurance reinstatement builders and reliant on that, because I thought going into the business 6 years ago that insurance work would be pretty steady, and then plus some spikes of weather events, but it is still very up and down, and it's no one, even the people that have been in the insurance business for 20 years, still don't understand the ups and downs of it. They can have some months where the loss adjusters or insurance assessors that they might not have one claim come in a week, and then the next week they might have 10, and
it's interesting.
It's really.
I suppose it's kind of like if marketing is your biggest growth lever, that you can manipulate, you're subbing quite a bit of that out to the insurance companies, which kind of takes your hand off that growth lever, which is tough. Huh?
So we're trying to diversify in different fields. I mean, we do other sort of work that are like ACC related. We're doing like wheelchair accessible showers, bathrooms, putting in ramps and lifts and things like that.
Nice.
All sorts of projects, and they can be quite large as well. Yeah, I think we've picked up one recently that was about $260,000 renovation to a house and extensions and all sorts of stuff to help.
And how do you split your time? What does your week look like between running the two businesses?
Yeah, well, now that I have a branch manager, it's a lot less travel up to Whangarei. Instead of going up weekly, I try to go up once a month. Sometimes it's not even that. And then otherwise, it's I try and split it 50-50 between my two businesses. I'm still quite active in the fencing business. I'm involved doing some quotes on that, but I do have a project manager and supervisor and admin people for that business as well.
So you're doing the pricing, you're doing the presenting the quote or the tender, or what aspects are you involved in?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, pricing and submitting tenders, and like business development, ringing around builders and other developers, and working through getting more work coming through. It's a lot of networking, even with suppliers, and that they're able to give me leads as well.
Yeah, 100%.
From like the aluminium fence importers, I'm the biggest company in New Zealand for aluminium fencing would be Boundary Line, and I'm their biggest customer in Auckland.
Right. Okay.
So they feed me a lot of leads, and they're pretty substantial, some of those ones.
Awesome.
So that gives us a lot of work as well. So we can do up to 20,000 metres of fencing a year of residential fencing. So,
And how much further do you think you can grow that? Is that going to be national or?
Yeah, that's
the plan.
There's all sorts of thoughts there, and maybe, discussed it before with Marty, but maybe it could be franchised or growing into other areas. But at the moment we're looking to diversify into other areas such as landscaping. Because there's always plenty of people, landscapers, that are trying to provide the full exterior package.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah. So driveways and everything.
Good margins as well.
Yeah. So that's what we've found. So we've done some exterior package work, and that's been pretty good. Paving, the landscaping, plants.
Yep. Nice. What have been your biggest lessons over the past few years? Biggest growth lessons or turning points?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just having all the right systems and structures in place, but also the mindset has been a big one that TPB has really helped teach me. It's so a lot of it is continual further development, reading a lot, listening to a lot of audio books, and I've listened to a lot driving to and from Whangarei, because you get sick of listening to the same music list on Spotify, and then start listening to podcasts and audio books, and that's been a real game changer, and just that helps to flip that mindset.
Stand out that you think would be good for other building company owners?
Yeah, I mean, so many, but the recent ones that I've really enjoyed have been Dan Martell's Buy Back Your Time. That's a huge game changer.
Yep.
And that's where I've started to delegate more and get more staff. So I got a PA on board and get her to manage my inboxes, because when you're running two companies, and I'm getting so many emails a day that, and what's the saying? That someone else's email.
Your email is somebody else's to-do list.
Exactly. So I'm just getting hammered with other people's to-do lists and not getting to my own.
Exactly.
And so that's been a huge game changer, and just and doing the default diary. About managing my time to make sure you're getting through and working on the business and not just in the business. That's been the big game changer. So
have you read Who Not How? Dan Sullivan?
Yes.
The Yellow Book? So good.
Yeah.
Just that. You don't need to do anything other than read the title. But someone solved the problems that you're grappling with now, and just go and hire that person to do it rather than you learning, taking all that time to learn how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's how I've been in the past. And probably a lot of people have been. That's like, I've got to figure out how to do this. And, it's like, no, sub that out to someone else. And that's why getting some of these other people on have been a huge game changer. It's really helped reduce the number of hours I work a week, from like 60 whatever hours a week. And it's given me a lot greater work-life balance, and being able to spend more time with the wife and the kids, and do more traveling and do all the fun stuff like with cars. And
exactly. Yeah. So let's talk about lifestyle. I think that's most people, or for us as entrepreneurs, we get into business to build a business that works for us, that gives us both more money and more time, so that you can go and do the things that you enjoy. And for me, it's motorcycling, it's going overseas to Formula One races, it's the car club that we're in. How about yourself? What lifestyle changes, have you made, or how do you enjoy your time?
Yeah, I mean, like you say, it's a lot of it's around cars and speed. I got into motor racing about 3 years ago. Bought a race car. Never thought about owning a race car. I've got a VW Golf. So it's a R32. So it's a 3.2 V6 Golf, but it's had a big ass turbo stuck on it.
How many horsepower?
It's about 500 horsepower.
Jesus. And what's it weigh?
About 1,240 kilos or something.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's all-wheel drive.
Rocket.
Race cars have race car issues, and it's up in the shop, especially when it's under that much stress with power and torque. And still got standard like gearbox and running gear, so you end up breaking a few things. But it's so much fun. It's so much, but then joining the car club, getting you to help me get into that, because that was the other story you always taught us right from the beginning, was it's about who you hang around with. If you want to get to the next level, you've got to change your circle of friends, basically, because you're not going to learn from your existing friends. You need to learn from the people that are at that next level. Exactly. And that's why I said to you, look, I need to get into this club. I need to, because I know from what you're saying, these are all people that are highly successful business people in this car club, because these are people that are driving Ferraris and McLarens and Porsches and Lamborghinis. So they all own their own business, that.
And a lot of them are in property developers, and a lot of builders,
developers,
construction guys in there as well.
Yeah, and so it's been huge. It's brought in other business for me without even really trying. But it's just and it's just great developing a new network of friends with like-minded.
I think that's one of the biggest things is environment. Like, get an environment, surround yourself with people who are on the same journey of where you want to go to, both personally and professionally. And it's 100%. You're going to think how they are. Like, if you're around 6 other triathletes and you go for a ride with them, and then you come back to the cafe and they're all ordering a protein shake and a tuna salad, you're not going to order a pizza. And over 3 to 6 months, you're going to get leaner, fitter. You're going to be focused on improvement in that area. You're going to learn lessons. You're going to be introduced to better training techniques. So whatever you want to achieve, get in a community that people are on that pathway to achieve the result that you want.
Yep. I share that information that you need. But it's just great networking. And you're all enjoying something that you're into as well. So it's been fantastic, that journey. And now it's just led on to other things about getting into more travel. The first 5-6 years or whatever of being in business, we didn't have the time and the money to to travel. You're always pouring the money back into the business to grow it, and you're like, oh, I can't leave it. I've got to be there to make all the decisions and to have my finger on the pulse all the time. But once you learn that you can trust your staff to empower them to make decisions and have the right processes and systems in place to support that, it makes a huge difference. And then so I think
you went to Canada?
Yeah, last year did a couple of trips, did a cruise around the Pacific for about 9 days, and then went to Vancouver and Whistler for about 8 days. And with each trip we slowly work less and less. And so,
do you want to come to Qatar next? We're going to go to the MotoGP, and then we're going to go to Spain, and we're going to get some Lambos, drive over the Stelvio Pass, and do a few tours of the factory hill.
Yeah, well, I'm busy at the moment for the next sort of 18 months building a house now.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about that.
So we're now building our own dream home in Whitford. Get 2.5 acres out in the country and a nice,
It's kind of like a Yellowstone vibe.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. It's got to be that country vibe, exposed trusses.
Yeah.
Things like that. So, yeah, and really looking forward to being able to build my dream home and a bit of a lifestyle block. So, yeah, I've been busy renovating our old house on Maraetai Beach there for the last sort of 12 years. And now I've decided, we need to make that move. But
you seem, one of the biggest things I think is you seem a lot calmer and more relaxed and present than when we first met 3 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That branch manager.
Yeah, it has been. And I remember when I first started, particularly when I joined the boardroom, it was like when you join the boardroom and it's like the next level, these builders that are more advanced and more scaled, and I felt like an imposter. I remember that first thing over in Waiheke, and I said, I majorly feel imposter syndrome here at the moment because I'm the only non-builder here. Yeah. And then, but everybody reassured me like, hey, well, none of us are on the tools anymore. We're all businessmen now. So the more systems and more good people you get in place, it does start to become a bit more relaxing, and you not feel like you're running around. Because in the beginning, you just feel like you're going from fire to fire, putting one fire out to another, and it's very stressful.
So have you felt like, it sounds like one of the big step changes, rather than just like incremental improvements, but this big step change was when you got the branch manager. What do you think the next step change is for you to double the business, like you were saying earlier?
Yeah, so we're working on other areas to diversify. So because we've been mainly business to business. So in the last few years, and part of the reason of joining the TPB was get into more business to consumer, get into that private residential renovation market. Because like I was saying, the average sort of job we do is like 10 grand. And we don't want to double in size by doing twice as many $10,000 jobs, 100 $10,000 jobs, and work in progress would be like, for sure. So we're like, how do we get more $100,000 plus jobs? And so we're getting into that, renovations, modifications, extensions, and that sort of market. So we knew we needed to work on our marketing more for that. So working on getting a better website to help draw on those customers. But first we needed to get in place our marketing pillars. How we work with you and 5-star guarantee and all this stuff to
nice.
So that the private customers who don't know us can trust us and like you say, that this is their most expensive asset in their life, and they're going to give all this money to somebody they don't know. They want to make sure that they're going to do a good job. So
for sure,
we're getting into more on that, and that's bringing in rewards. We're getting some great traction now.
Nice.
With the marketing that we're working on there. And then, like I said, we've been doing some ACC work. We get into other stuff. I don't want to say too much at the moment, so we're working on, but it's going to be huge if it comes off, and it's looking really good. And part of that was through making a connection through my motor racing.
Yeah, awesome. Funny that it's not what you told me. It wasn't a head and length laptop and working in the business.
Yeah.
I'm baffled.
Yeah. So that's great. Just talking to somebody there, and that was just great opportune time. Is hey, I need you to call me, send me an email.
So good.
And then it's got potential there to do lots of work there. I mean, that get me into a different industry, and I could do $1 to $2 million a year easily.
Yeah.
Just through his company. And then there are other multiple companies in that industry where I could easily turn this into a $10 million plus business.
Love it. Awesome. So who do you think is your next hire, and what milestone do you need to achieve to get them?
Yeah, so the next is further growing, developing our Auckland branch.
Yep.
So that's run by a branch manager as well.
Yep.
And then I just want to be dealing with managers and dealing on at the higher level of business development.
So how much time would that free you back if you were to get an Auckland branch manager? Like 20 hours or something a week maybe? Or probably headspace wise 45.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It'd be huge. But the biggest thing will be next is in my fencing business.
Sure.
And I was going to have an estimator.
Yep.
Inside of that, so I'm not doing the pricing. So it pulls me out of that pricing and invoicing and that sort of stuff, because in the fencing business, obviously, I'm still doing a fair bit of in the business.
Got it.
So I just want to pull back from that. So I'm just working on the businesses only.
Yeah.
So that'll be a huge game changer. But yeah, it's just at the current market, I've had to pull back on that idea. So
cool.
What tools or resources have been most game changing, if you had to pick one or two, that have made the biggest difference, or the biggest mindset shift, or the biggest process change?
Oh, there's so many. I was thinking about this the other day, and just one thing after another. There was the default diary has been a huge game changer, because you always have like this to-do list of things to do, and there's always, you prioritize them, and the priority ones always get done, and there's always these other ones that have been there for days or weeks, and I haven't got to that one yet. Yeah. Anyway, you need to do it, and it's just a case of I need to say, put in my diary, so Tuesday 3 p.m. I'm doing this, and I'm getting it done. Sometimes it's you've got to work at when the best part of the day is to work on some of these things, because first thing in the morning I'm on my sharpest or whatever, but I'm also getting loads of phone calls and this and that. So, do I have to get up a bit earlier and work on this stuff before work, between 6 and 7, before the phone starts ringing or whatever, or do I do it 4 to 5 at the end of the day when the phone calls have got quieter, but then I'm not don't have the same amount of energy, so it's all that sort of stuff, and but it's just making sure you got that full life balance, that you're looking after yourself as well, with the gym, nutrition, that sort of stuff as well, because you're not going to put 91 unleaded into your race car.
Exactly.
You don't want to put junk food in your body either. So
you were saying you were having a high protein.
Yeah. So I've been working on nutrition and exercise for the last few years.
Nice.
Been gaining muscle and losing fat, which is
living the dream.
Yeah. What we're after, right?
I love it.
Nice. And then what other systems have been helpful? So it was the default calendar, default diary, and then what else has been useful for you?
Yeah, I mentioned before the 1-3-1 rule about empowering staff to come to you with solutions, not just problems. I mean, even some of my managers get it too, and they think, it's so annoying. The staff just come with a problem.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's like, tell them they've got to come to you with 2 or 3 solutions, and which one they prefer, and why, and then to show that they've thought it through, and they're not just coming to you like a kid saying, "Hey, sort this out for me."
Here's the monkey on my back.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
So that's really huge, because that takes a lot of that brain stress off you, because
for sure,
at the end of the day, when you're making so many decisions. So I think, is it Steve
with the black t-shirt?
No, Bezos.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, he only wants to make so many decisions a day.
Right.
Is it like 5 decisions a day or something?
Or potentially even a year. Some of the, depending on the size and scope of your business, like some CEOs should really only be making 5 strategic decisions annually. Do we invest in this machinery? Do we refinance this thing? Do we, place this bet? Exactly.
Because if the more decisions you make, it starts getting diluted.
Exactly. Like in our business at the moment, we've got 2 bets that we are placing. Right. So 70% of our resource is behind business as usual. 20% of our resource goes behind bet number 1. Right. And 10% of our resource goes behind bet number 2, and as they gain traction,
Yeah, bet number one is events and partners and doing those globally. So event every week over the next 5 years. And then bet number two is a SaaS software product to help building company owners.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So, presumably this is similar for yourself, like, that 30% away from fencing and Ensura into the ACC stuff or whatever the bets look like for you.
Yeah. But the other thing has been making sure you employ the best people you can find.
Yeah.
And like when you're in a smaller town like Whangarei versus Auckland, there's not as many candidates are applying. Like I could put a job ad in Auckland and get 100 people easily.
Yeah.
These days applying, it's crazy. But in Whangarei, it probably took me 4 to 6 months before I found the right guy.
Yeah.
And I was interviewing plenty of people that were going, they seem pretty good, but they're not ticking all the boxes.
Yeah,
but
if it's not a hell yes, it's a no.
Yeah.
And when you're looking for a branch manager, you're looking for a really well-rounded person.
Yeah.
I was mainly getting project managers. He's been a builder, he's been a project manager. It's good, but like I want someone who's also got sales experience and all that sort of stuff. So it took a while, but I was like, no, I'm not just employing the best that's available this week or today, this month. And so it took me some months, and and the business did get affected because I took longer.
Would have taken longer if you hired the wrong one and then had to get rid of them in 90 days. So, or if you go past that 90 days, then you can't get rid of them.
Exactly, and then,
well, you could always get rid of someone.
Yeah. So and it was worth it. Was worth the wait because he hit the ground running within 2 or 3 days. He was making a difference to the business.
That's it. Hey, when you've got somebody that's good, it should feel easy. And when you got somebody that is not the right fit, it will feel hard.
Yeah.
And you'll notice that within the first 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
And it's not until you find somebody really good, and you're like, this is what it's meant to feel like.
Yeah.
Everybody else is not quite there, and now you've got that yardstick of what it's meant to feel like and who you need for every position should feel like that ultimately. Yeah. So
any last golden nuggets that you'd share with people if they're wanting to make a change or level up their current situation or what that could look like?
I think if there's anybody out there that's contemplating, do they sign up with the TPB today? 100%, you need to do it. You won't regret it. It was like a hard decision for me at the time, and often businesses are in a situation, I can't really afford it, but we're just saying you can't not afford it. You'll get a return on investment like you wouldn't believe. It's not just improving your business, like I said, it's also improving your personal life as well, and that's huge. I think it ends up putting more years on your life because you get this better work-life balance. You're not so stressed anymore. You get a better relationship with your wife and your kids and just so on and so on. And you get to do other activities, fun.
Exactly.
High-octane activities. But the one proviso I guess I would say with that is you get what you put in. So if you're going to jump in, you got to jump in with boots and all, not just sort of sit on the sideline. And you got to be active in the program. And then the more you put into it, and the faster you implement these systems and ideas, the faster you'll see the benefits. And I've seen that so many times, on these Zoom meetings with 40, 50 people, and then you hear like, this guy's put in so many things in the last month. You go, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That someone's been able to do that. So,
yeah.
I think that's what I love about you. You're like the silent assassin. you take massive action and you just put in place, you keep moving forward and executing towards your vision. And I think that's why you've built 2 great businesses, and you're going to, continue to dominate and crush it going forward.
Awesome. Thanks, mate.
All right. Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you too.
Great having you around, man.
Great to have you on.
Yeah, thank you.
Want to go more in depth on today's topic and buy back more time whilst earning more money? Get a free business health audit and plenty of free resources over on our website, theprofessionalbuilder.com.